What's going on, everyone? This is On the Floor with Liv and Cor. I'm Cor, that's Liv. And this is episode 7 of On the Floor with Liv and Cor podcast. Can you believe it? Episode 7. Olivia, here we are.
7 times. It's a habit.
7 times it's a habit. I can't even believe it. You know what else is a habit? Us sharing our favorite sparkling water every single episode. Let's get straight to it because this was a really fun week of gymnastics. We have some really fun bubbles to share. But first, what's your bubbles of the day?
Okay, so my girlfriend told me about this new sparkling water, and my boyfriend Bryce pissed me off earlier and dragged me to the grocery store when I didn't want to go, but it left me to get this. It's
What
called
is this?
Sanzo, and I'm a huge lychee, I always pronounce it wrong, lychee person, and so Sanzo lychee is what I got for having to go to the grocery store.
This sounds really exciting. And it does say sparkling water nice and bold on there. So
It's
we,
oh yeah, I double checked. I double
yeah,
checked.
we do have that. I love that. Good. I love this. Okay. We had a fan, actually. My sparkling water today is from one of our listeners. Um, they texted me yesterday and said, I just bought you your bubbles for this week. So like stay and I'm gonna bring it to you. This is from, I don't know if everyone is as much of a fan as I am. This is from the one and only Jayla Hang's mom, Mina Hang, got me Topo Chico blueberry with hibiscus.
Shut up.
Can you even?
I can't, and I want all of it.
She sent me a picture of it, and I'm like, this is perfect. This is perfect. I'm obsessed with Topo Chico. We've already talked about this. And she was like, I know, I listened. I had to get it for you. So shout out Mina Hang, Jayla Hang's mom. I'm obsessed. So thank you
I'm
for our
so
bubbles.
jealous. I thought my lychee was going to be more cool than yours, but it's not.
Well, the thing is that both of us were recommended by other people to get sparkling water.
True.
So maybe this is just like our new brand. It is our brand.
All right, let's open these bad boys. I've been dying to have this.
All right. Cheers, Liv.
I almost broke a nail. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh,
All right.
that's great.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
Oh my goodness, everyone, run, don't walk and get this. This is delicious.
I should
Okay.
send the boyfriend back out to the grocery store.
Yeah, you probably should. Okay, everyone. I think let's get started, Liv, with our Twitter DMs because this has been like a
Yes.
very fun little bit that we've been doing. And it was a fun weekend. One of the most important things that happened this weekend was, well, there was this football game that was on TV.
The
That
most boring football game I've ever seen in my life.
ever, ever. But the really important thing that happened was an iconic Nike commercial with some of the most powerful, inspiring women I've ever seen in my life in one commercial spot. And it was unbelievable. Were you like chills, tears all at once the way that I
I had
was?
like four people at work today bring it up to me, and I was like, it was so emotional and amazing to see. And so I was just beside myself with it.
Who, when you were watching it, which one, give me your top two
I mean,
women
obviously
that
I mean, come on. Like that's just
were.
so just seeing her on that commercial was amazing and she looked fantastic. It's I feel like to me it sounds so cliche, but Caitlin Clark, knowing what she's gone through and been through and like how she's evolved into Caitlin Clark, that
For,
will always get me.
for sure.
And so I don't know. Seeing those two was really wonderful.
For me, Jordan, I was just so excited for her, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that incredible leotard that she had on with the Nike swoosh over the shoulder, iconic, so cool. And just rad to see a gymnast in there, representing. Amazing, so cool. But I have to say, Sabrina Ionescu really, really got me because, for those of you who don't know, I actually got the opportunity last week to be hype man for a men's basketball game at the University of Arkansas. It was an awesome opportunity. I was super grateful to be asked to participate. And I was a little bit of a fish out of water because I'm the gymnastics hype man guy. I love women's athletics. I love women's sports in general. And to be asked to do that was really cool. But I have to admit, I was standing on the sideline of the men's basketball game. It was Alabama versus Arkansas. And I found myself counting the number of players on the court that were wearing Sabrina Ionescu's shoe line. There was at least 7 players on the court that were all wearing Sabrina's.
I love
Like,
that.
come on, iconic. That's so cool. So, anyways, the first Twitter DM interaction that Olivia and I had was definitely the Super Bowl Nike commercial. Iconic, amazing. I actually bought the shirt that has all of the women on it. So at some point in a podcast, I will wear it. And I'm really excited about that. So that's our first one.
Yeah, that was amazing. So much better than the game. Always will be better than the game. Okay,
Yeah.
my next tweet that I sent to Cory this weekend comes from Rutgers Gymnastics. It was Rachel Riley's beam routine. We've talked about Rachel Riley. We talked about her earlier, I think in episode 1 when she mentioned Ellie Black being the gymnast she looked up to, which just made our lives.
Sent me
And
into orbit. Yes.
and Rachel has come back from injury. She hasn't been at full capacity her entire collegiate career. So to see her perform this excellent routine, very polished. She's one of those athletes that's incredibly confident in her body position on beam. It looks easy and normal and not like she's nervous. She gives really powerful energy on beam. And to see her perform is always so, it just makes me happy knowing what she's been through. So I sent that routine to Cory, just wanting to make sure that we gave her a shout out because it hasn't been an easy road for her. She's a very highly sought after athlete. I remember when she first got to Rutgers, everyone was asking where she was. They wanted to see her compete. So to see her have success is wonderful.
It's so cool. It's so cool. Okay,
The next one,
oh
I
yeah,
have
yeah.
another one.
Go. Okay, you go.
Don't cut me off.
I'm
The
sorry.
next one I saw and sent to Cory immediately because I was just enthralled. This came from Tom Parrott and his husband Taylor, the hype men at Denver. And I know Cory, you've worked with them and have a really great relationship with them in this very tight-knit hype man circle. And so to see them come out, they literally had these fantastic pink fits for their pink meet. They were wearing capes. It had DU bedazzled on the cape. They just looked so joyful, and it gives me the same energy that you give to gymnastics, even when I'm just looking at that photo. And so major shout out to Tom and Taylor. You just looked spectacular. Those shoes are fabulous. Just the whole ensemble is spectacular and major kudos because does not happen overnight.
Okay, we must give flowers where flowers are due. Tom and Taylor hand rhinestoned those capes.
I mean,
Every single rhinestone, one at a time. And when you look at Tom's cape, it is just full of pink and gold rhinestones. It's amazing. He
it
was
literally looks like something a leotard company would do or
oh,
something.
oh, it looks like a sticker. Like it's like, oh, they ordered a rhinestone sticker, DU, and like put it onto, a piece of fabric. No, no, a labor of love from Tom and Taylor, all for their pink meat. It's amazing. I'm such a big fan of theirs. They encourage me so much as I head out and do, MC roles and hype man roles, and they have for such a long time. And yes, I have had the honor of being able to encourage them as they continue to build things at Denver. And it was a really cool moment. I'm glad you brought this one up because um, they have been working very hard and very diligently to grow the fan base and the fan engagement at Denver. And they hit some amazing records this weekend that they just feel overjoyed and uplifted to feel like they hit. And one of the most important ones was that they said that the team just felt like they were competing in an amazing, electric, fun, energetic environment. And for people like myself that don't get to contribute tenths into a competition, and just like Tom and Taylor, it feels amazing to be able to create that environment for student athletes. So kudos to Tom and Taylor. I'm super excited for them.
Maybe we don't need to give athletes tens, we need to give them hype men.
Period. Let's
If
go.
hype men don't give tens, I'm putting that on shirts.
Let's go. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Okay, Corey, I know we only have a couple more that we DM. This was a crazy, I was traveling. You did back-to-back gymnastics, basketball. It was a little bit of a cray-cray weekend for your OTF fam, but I did send Corey this one. It was a tweet from Stanford Gymnastics, and the tweet is in 2025, only one Beamer in the NCAA has earned a 995 or better in the leadoff position, and her name is Claire Dean. Just
Period.
that, I mean, we don't have to talk about it more besides that stat. And we all know how hard it is to be in a leadoff position. We know your job, while of course to get the highest scores possible, is to set the tone. And just massive kudos to Claire. I love that she is at Stanford. I love that she is getting what she deserves.
Yes. Shout out to the SID who went through every single lineup to find out all of the top scores of all of the leadoff performers on Beam to find that stat out because SID should rule the world. They are absolutely crushing it, but that is an amazing stat, and I'm so happy that we know it. It's just so cool. Okay, the last DM that we passed back and forth, I had to make sure that Olivia had eyes on Sophia Esposito on floor. She went 995 yesterday in their meet. Yesterday was Monday. They had a Monday meet with Washington and Alaska in Corvallis. I just want to make sure everyone saw one of Sophia Esposito's passes, which is a front tuck step out straight to a round off double pike. No back handspring, no back handspring. Front tuck step out, round off double pike. It
It
was
seems so
incredible.
silly, right? Like it seems like, okay, no back handspring, but what if the front tuck is off?
Oh, oh, what do you do?
You're having a date with the floor. That's all. Your mouth is having a date with the floor. I mean, you have to be on it every time.
It's so cool. It's so cool. It was just one that took me back, and admittedly, I hadn't seen it this season. And so when I saw it, it was like, oh my gosh, send to Olivia immediately, and the world needs to know about it because it gave me very similar vibes to like the Emily Innes from Washington pass of like what that pass does for my soul, right? Like it's giving like that Haley Bryant moment. It's giving like
I love that for her.
An Olivia Finnegan double Arabian moment, right? And it's just unique. It's so cool. So Sophia Esposito, you slay, girl. You slay.
Love.
With that, let's head to our event bubbles of the week. We are starting on vault. And honestly, I'm gonna run through these. These are some great notes. I just want to make sure everyone has some eyes on them. And you guys, we encourage you after we tell you what these bubbles are. Go and look for them. Go watch these meets. Go and see these for firsthand because there truly is nothing like consuming all of these routines from all of these various teams that we are talking about and various student athletes that we are bringing attention to. We want you to watch them. We can talk about them and tell you how amazing they are, but go and watch this gymnastics because some amazing stuff is happening around the country. So on vault, we had two major returners to vault lineups this weekend. So Suki Pfister is back out of injury. She's from Ball State University. She's a fifth year and she vaulted for the first time this year. So we were so excited to see her have that moment, right? It's an emotional moment coming back from injury, all that sort of stuff. And the other major returner of the week, I'm sure everyone has probably seen it by now because how could you miss it? Haley Bryant is back in the vault lineup. We saw that incredible vault that hit the ceiling. They were down in Tuscaloosa this weekend, and it was beautiful. So she did a gorgeous 9925. That's a way to start her, first vault in the lineup. So it was pretty cool.
I
Now,
also love that both of those are front handspring, front pike vaults. I just love
well,
that. Just in a little addition.
I mean, wouldn't you? Right? Like, wouldn't you? I just, I digress. Let's talk about Shay Campbell.
What aspect of her?
Shay Campbell served us that Yurchenko full that we are obsessed with, sticks it, and while she's like mid salute, she's giving us the head nod, right? The I know that's right head nod. She said, Judges, if you're wondering, my feet didn't move. And that was beautiful. And I know it, and you know it, and you should throw the score that you need to give. Okay? So I know that's right. Shay Campbell for president. That's all I have to say.
And just a reminder that judges sit on the side of vault, and the angle we got of that on Twitter was from like back left corner. So just a reminder to people, like, there's always discourse of, well, they took a half because their legs were separated on the pre-flight. You can't see that on the side. I mean, everyone's legs are separated on the pre-flight.
Play the game. You know what I'm saying?
So just a little reminder there that, like, yeah, my
Yeah.
leg just.
You're fine. You look great. Oh, another one. 3 weeks in a row, stuck vaults from Faith Torres of Oklahoma. We now went 9,975 career high from Faith. Amazing. I mean, talk about momentum. Keep it going, Faith. Come on. 9,975, three stuck vaults in a row. We just keep it going. That's all I'm gonna say there. We have Nikki Smith ranked number one on vault. If you've listened to any episode, I feel like we've probably mentioned Nikki Smith in every episode of On the Floor with Liv and Cor. But she is ranked number one in the nation on vault. Well deserved. A beautiful Yurchenko 1.5. And I don't know. We're obsessed with the Michigan State vault lineup. I hope everyone's as obsessed as we are. But Nikki Smith, you slay, girl. Keep it going. Keep it going. And my final vault bubble. Yes, I am monopolizing the vault event this week because there's been some great stuff. I have to give credit where credit is due. Arkansas brought a freshman into their lineup, and Grace Drexler threw down a Yurchenko 1.5, and it was gorgeous. It was so beautiful. And let me tell you the story because I was behind the scenes and I was watching what was happening. Grace did not warm up with the vault lineup. She warmed up while the team was on balance beam. And it was the first time in a minute that she had been on a hard surface. And when she threw down, she like did a couple vaults over the table. Obviously, you can take your time when you're in the warm up and you're not warming up with the team. It's like you can take a little bit more time and really work with your coach on technique and maybe take a couple extra turns over the table. Well, when Grace went and did her Yurchenko 1.5 in the warm up, she stuck it. She stuck it. You should have seen Kyla's face. Kyla Ross, vault coach of the University of Arkansas. When she stuck this vault, she was like, that was amazing. How do you feel? And she was like, I feel great. That was awesome. And they're like, great. Okay, you're gonna warm up as the alternate, and we're gonna see what we need to do. And then you were gonna probably put you in the lineup if things go well. And things went well, and Grace Drexler, freshman, was in the vault lineup. And Arkansas threw down 4 10-0 start value vaults on Friday night, which was pretty cool. So those are my vault bubbles of the week. Those are some pretty good ones and some routines that everyone should go back and watch. Don't you agree?
Those were great. And kudos to Grace. That is not easy to do. She literally didn't even warm up with everyone else. That already in itself is such a mind game that you're in this different area. But I saw that and my heart sang. That was amazing.
It was so cool. It was so cool.
All right, let's swing a little bit. Let's pendulum and swing. Let's swing. Let's bail handstand over to bars. So I'm going to monopolize bars because Cory just monopolized vault. So my first one, and I think no one would be shocked for me to say this one as my first one, is Avery Neff competing bars this weekend. Now, we all saw what happened when Avery had a really scary injury occur at home on floor. Unfortunately, it was posted on the internet more than it should have been, and
Right.
that's a whole different topic. But let's be honest, we all thought that was
Season ending.
season ending. I mean, really, really scary. And the fact that she was using a walker 3 weeks ago and is now competing a bar routine is so impressive. Now, people are going to go, oh, well, maybe they're pushing her to come back. There is no way someone would be pushed to come back when they have the depth that Utah does. And not to mention the most incredible athletic training staff and facilities that NCAA schools have. No way. I was just so impressed. And she put something out on social media saying, I can't believe 3 weeks ago I was using a walker and now I'm competing. It was so cool that they wore those 50-year program year leotards with their names on the back, which operationally had me thinking in so many different directions. But for the moment, made me so happy that we had that kind of, football, basketball, soccer-esque thing with the names on the back. But just major kudos to Avery. I'm so bummed I traded you in my fantasy trading, and that Scott Bregman picked you up. So that sucks for Liv, but so happy for her and the recovery that she has had so far and will still to come.
I'm just going to reiterate one thing. Like, we are all bystanders watching the sport of gymnastics, and we have to trust the medical staff and we have to trust the coaching staff to be making wise decisions, right? This was something that I am positive that there was a lot of discussion about her comeback. There was a lot of discussion about what was the best thing for her. Now, I will say, I think Avery is a competitor. And I think that Avery was going to do whatever it took to make sure she got back in this lineup her freshman year and contributed to the University of Utah. I'm not saying that that wasn't a factor, but I believe that we all need to understand that when moments like this happen, it's not about doubting the medical staff. The medical staff have medical degrees, and I'm a marketing guy. Like, that's what we need to know. They know what they're doing, and we get to have the joy of watching Avery Neff compete bars again. And who knows how many more events we'll get to add in the rest of the season. But super cool.
Amazing. Couldn't agree more. Okay, my second one comes from Georgia's Holly Snyder. I don't know if I'm just late to the game and everyone else has seen this and I haven't. Holly does potentially one of the most gorgeous piked rays I've ever seen. I don't know if you've seen this thing. It scrapes the ceiling. Her head scrapes the ceiling. It's huge. I remember watching it and going, "Whoa, my God, that was massive." And then I went back and rewatched it. I was like, my goodness, it's amazing. So I had to shout out Holly and this fabulous bar routine. So for those people who might not, who needs a bar worker on fantasy, grab her, but also incredible bar worker. And that Ray is a work of art.
I
So
will
that
I will be going after we finish this recording and watching that bar routine because I have not seen it yet.
great. You're highly missing out if you don't. And then my last one, I've talked about her on other events, but Penn's Sky Carico, University of Pennsylvania. She was the first University of Pennsylvania gymnast who did a 1.5 on vault. She's in the record book for that. She's had great success on floor exercise as well. I open my Twitter feed and I see that she goes 995 on bars, second highest bar scorer in program history, and the highest since 2001. Wicked stat right there. I mean, that's over
Please.
20 years of no one going above a 995 on or up to a 995 on bars for Penn. But the lines are lovely. She hits the handstand. It's kind of like we were talking about with Yui Soma.
Yes, from Stanford.
Yes, holds the hand, like could bounce in the handstand. The toe point's excellent. Her legs are beautiful. Like just such a all around talented athlete. And I love now that she's going to be in the record book twice. That just made me really happy. So Sky Carico, if you're not watching her, you should be. University of Pennsylvania, just fabulous, fabulous athlete.
So cool, so cool. All right, let's go to balance beam. I know we both have very passionate feelings about some of these balance beam bubbles, but let's start with the UCLA gymnastics beam lineup in their meet against Washington. I sat here and I pulled up their scores because I wanted to make sure I was correct. They did not have any score. All six scores were above 9-9. All of them. Emily Lee 9-9, Jordan Childs 9-9, Shay Campbell 9-9-2-5, Brooklyn Moores 9-9, Sienna Alipio 9-9-5, Emma Malabuyo 9-9-5. They went 49-6-2-5 on balance beam on Friday.
So now think about that beam potential with the 49.8 floor potential. And then let's just stick some vaults and stick some bar dismounts because, in the meet against Michigan State, I think they stuck one bar dismount. And I
Right.
don't think they stuck a vault. So you think about, it's all the shoulda, woulda, coulda, but think about that level Mixed, that's unstoppable stuff.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And now, again, for giving credit where credit is due, Lacey Dagan, you're crushing it. Lacey
Slay.
Dagan, balance beam coach at UCLA, period.
She's crushing coaching and she's crushing the outfits, I must say. I want her
Yes.
closet.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So that's the start of our balance beam bubble. You take the next one.
Okay, the next one actually holds a very special place in my heart. So, I don't know if many of you are aware, but Michigan hosts a competition called Flip for Chip. It is a meet that brings awareness to pancreatic cancer, and it's specifically about a very special man. His name is Chip Hills. My former teammate, Kaylee Hills, this is her dad. And I actually never met Chip. So, this is a crazy thing how close myself and others feel to this person who never met him. He was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, was literally given a couple months to live when Kaylee was a freshman, and lived like 13 months with the mindset of they're Carolina Panthers fans, keep pounding. That was their motto. And win the day was another one of theirs. You can always win your day. And the third one was go to bed every day with three good things from your day. One day it could be that the sun rose. One day it could be that you had amazing results from radiation. One day it could be that your family was all together. Anything, there's always three good things in every day. So when we started this meet, I was a freshman. So he passed when I was a freshman. Kaylee was a sophomore. And we did the first meet in yeah, so it's been 10 years since the Flip for Chip meet. And it just holds a really special place in my heart. I literally never met him, but I just feel so connected to his story and his legacy. And he actually wrote a note to the team when Kaylee was a freshman. It's on in our locker room on a plaque. It's just so amazing. And this year was Flip for Chip, and they were purple, and it's so much fun. And Carly Bauman, fifth year at Michigan, goes and 9975 on beam. And that's her career high. And you kind of talk about poly magic when we talked about the 49.8. This is chip magic in Chrysler. And
Mm.
there's just something about flip for chip meet. Something magical always happens. And there have been times where the team hasn't won during that meet. There's been times where we've counted a fall, but there's always something good that contributes to the three good things of the day that happens at that meet. And this was, in my opinion, that one for this one was that 9975. So well deserved for an athlete who's fifth year. This is it for her. This is her last flip for chip. And so that was very special to me. It left a special place in my heart deeper than a 9975. It was definitely chip magic.
It's always so um I just love listening to you talk about Flip for Chip and how much it means to you and how much your time at the University of Michigan, what Chip Hills did to inspire all of you as student athletes on that team. And it just really warms my heart every time you get to talk about it. I know you never got to wear the purple leotard. It's a sore place in Olivia's heart, but I feel like mentally she like dreams in wearing that. If it's not a velvet Leo, it's a flip for chip Leo. So it just is always so it's so amazing to listen to you hear about it, and you're so passionate about it. And I love hearing stories on different programs around the country that are have this legacy attached to them, and something that is so much greater than any score or any deduction or whatever the case may be that we might be complaining about or talking about at the time. And it's just always so cool to hear you talk about flip for chip. So I'm glad you got to share that.
Me too.
Okay, our last balance beam bubble is a really important one. It
I
is.
don't think I have words yet.
Me neither. Let's talk about Ondine Ashampong from Cal in an exhibition performance on balance beam.
Well, for starters, we start the routine with the switch ring jump, split jump. I mean, just like, like I'm gonna vomit like joy right there.
I just am having a hard time finding the words.
I don't have them. All I can tell you is she personifies brilliance on beam.
Oh, brilliance, artistry, grace,
Majesty, highnessness, joy.
queen stuff.
I mean, she should permanently wear the Cal Bear head on her head just for that exhibition routine. And I tweeted this out. Look, it's very hard sometimes for coaches to feel comfortable putting an athlete out there when they're not putting out the routine that is going to score a specific score that will allow them to justify, okay, a judge gave her this in a competitive moment, X, Y, and Z. Undine didn't have a beam dismount, and that's okay. Liz and Justin and the coaching staff wanted her to have that opportunity and knew she was ready for that, even without the dismount. And this is my PSA for more of that. Because a lot of times the dismount is the one thing that you can't quite get. And then we don't get to see the routine, the progress, the excellence, what's to come. That to me was what college gymnastics is. Give the opportunity. And not to mention, it's so stunning and beautiful. I mean, it's like there's no words for how stunning the routine is, but I loved that she was able to do that even without the full difficulty needed to get those scores that you want. We all got a taste of what's to come. That's how you hook people. That's marketing.
Oh, absolutely. And
Not to say that Undine is marketing for them, but to say it's like a brilliant, I mean, it's smart. Like people, fans are like, oh, I want more of that. It's like, you just wait.
exactly. I mean, I'm going to echo part of what you said. Kudos to the coaching staff at Cal for making the decision to put her in without a dismount, right? That is a drop your ego out the door sort of move. We are not over here trying to show everyone the depth that we have. We're over here trying to make sure that we get a student athlete competitive experience. I mean, God forbid it was the rivalry meet against Stanford, you know, and let's get this student athlete some competitive experience. It's been a minute since she's been saluting a judge based on the injury that she sustained. Um, and then to go up and have her do a straight jump off the end of the beam, it was the most beautiful straight jump I've ever seen in my life. I just need that to be known. Um, but instead of a normal dismount, I'm sure she's training a dismount onto softer surfaces in the gym. But in a competitive environment like that, it was more about getting her up there, feeling the vibes, feeling the energy of Haas Pavilion, wearing the leotard, having her teammates around her, and she put on a show. So, I mean, kudos to everyone involved, but I cannot wait to see her compete in the lineup for the Cal Bears in the future. It's going to be amazing.
Same.
Speaking of Cal Bears,
Maya Lazan, I just love her so much. And I know I'm like Scott Bregman's like coming out of my mouth saying like I know how much I love Maya Lazan. But love this 10.0 for her walk-off 10 against Stanford at home to win the big rivalry meet. And she's the first Cal Bear program history to get a 10 on 3 events. Like, get out of here.
it's
And
so cool.
it's so cool. She is the person for this too. Like so deserving, so well done. I'm beyond thrilled that this recognition and this program historic moment is going to Maya Lazan.
I have to admit, I feel like historically, tens have been hard to come by on floor in particular. And so for this to happen, there's only been five perfect tens the entire season. And for that to be one of them, it was pretty cool. And of course, we're Maya Lazan stands here, so I'm so here for it. Another floor exercise bubble I have to bring up though was we saw the floor debut from Kalia Lincoln from LSU,
Yes.
right? It was it was really cool. I mean, I saw her name in the lineup. I was so curious. My number one question was what passes are they going to put on her? And it was cool. I was just excited to see her sky high tumbling. They threw some great leaps on her. And she's going to start to perfect those landings and we're going to see some amazing scores. So, it'll be interesting. As it always is with LSU, that those lineups are hard to make. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with her. And then, do you have any other floor bubbles that you wanted to mention this week?
I have one.
Okay.
So I am a huge Tori Vetter stan, Ohio State's Tori Vetter, and I did not watch their meet this week, and I have to go back and do that. But I saw a clip of her going 995 career high on floor. And she's one of those athletes you don't initially associate with floor. She's very bars and beam is beautiful. Her vault is very Emily Lee-esque. Like when she sticks it, it's excellent. It's a very elegant full. but I love to see her get that 995 on floor. It's just a beautiful routine. It's very her, graceful, lovely. She's just one of those all-arounders that I keep my eye on for who could sneak in and steal the Big Ten all-around title. I really, really think that she has that. And so I love to see her receive that mark for floor.
I love that one. That's great. That's great. Okay, let's go with our bubbly vibes. These are
Yeah, we
some,
could hit these like some headlines.
let's do it. So, number one, we just had some amazing conference duels that were so exciting this weekend. We had Auburn beating Georgia. We had Arkansas beating Florida. We had Illinois beating Ohio State. We had Cal beating Stanford. On the men's side, we had Michigan beat Illinois.
Oh, yes.
It was so cool. I was actually watching it with Chris Brooks, assistant coach at Arkansas, former OU men's gymnast, Olympic alternate in 2012, Olympic team member and team captain in 2016 on the men's side. And it was so cool to watch the men's meet. And it was really good energy in Ann Arbor, and Michigan ended up taking it. But it was a really great meet and some really good stuff. But there was some really cool matchups this weekend. It's always so hard to pick what meets you're going to watch, but those were some really amazing ones that ended with some very incredible results. So that was one of mine. The other one I have to mention was the iconic moment of Trinity Thomas's first broadcast on the SEC network. Number one, Trin, if you're listening, we love you. I'm obsessed with you. And I love you. Like as a friend, I do consider Trinity a friend of mine. On a lighter note, watching Trinity's accolades cover Bart Connor's face was one of the funniest things that I've seen in a minute.
That's like an all-time balance beam situation gif. Spencer, we need that as like an all-time. Bart literally was like, like trying to get away from it. It was so funny. And it's like you can't leave any of them off.
Right. Oh, and you know as well as I do that that was not all of them. You know what I
That
mean?
was like the Spark Notes of the Spark Notes version of
Right, exactly, exactly. But it was so cool to see Trinity in that new role for her. And I'm just so excited. But man, that GIF forever will be iconic.
so good. Okay, I have a couple too. I saw that Nicole King from Georgia, did you see this? She competed vault for the first time in 2 years after getting injured on that event. And anytime someone comes back and competes on an event they got injured on is even more, it's more special than just competing again after the injury. You know, you
Yeah.
can come back and you can do vault if you got hurt on floor and you can do bar, whatever. But coming back on that specific event, it's like you're, if anyone knows what that means, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, I just did the Ross Geller like clap your
Okay.
wrists next to each other. If you know, you know. It's like that to the event. And I love that because it just feels so empowering. So that felt very empowering to me, even just to see. I can't even imagine how she must have felt. The team hugging her and attacking her on the mat was just so wonderful. So massive kudos and shout out to Nicole King. My other one, when I was watching the Michigan versus Nebraska meet, I just wanted to shout out Emma Simpton from Nebraska. She is notoriously one of those athletes with gorgeous lines. Like when she does beam and bars, it just looks beautiful. She went 9-9 on both events. Unsung fantasy hero, in my opinion. But just a big shout out to Emma Simpton. I am a huge fan of hers and just love to see her continue to be successful.
Love it. I love it. One note I had, Jade Carey continues to crush it. She is ranked number one in the country on beam and all around for 4 weeks in a row. That is crazy. That is wild. I also saw a graphic today that Oregon State posted that she's won the all around in all of the dual meets that they've had so far. So, or in all of the meets that they've had,
All
not
of
all of
them.
them have been duels. So, I mean, you go, Jade. And let's just never forget those bars. I know. For those who said that she's not a bar worker, she's a bar worker, okay? Okay. The other thing I wanted to shout that is there were some really cool attendance records, or attendance not necessarily highest records, but some really good stuff that happened this past weekend. I want to note the Washington meet. I think it was the second highest attendance in their history. Super cool. I love that, bringing some great energy to the Seattle area. The other one I wanted to mention was I believe that Oklahoma men, they had a really cool joint alumni weekend this weekend. They brought their women's alumni to the meet on Friday. And then they brought their men's alumni to a meet on Saturday, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was Saturday night. And they set an attendance record for their meet, which is super cool, super cool. So there was lots of other amazing. I think Auburn had a sellout again, and there was some other really good stuff happening. But attendance around the country has been slowly but surely rising, and I think it's good, and I don't want us to let down on that. I think that we need to continue to push, continue to get more people to attend their first gymnastics meet that they've ever attended, because as a fan, we know it's one of the most exciting hour and a half meets that you could, or events that you could go to. So make sure you keep bringing your friends to gymnastics meets around the country. It's super cool. What
I
else you
love
got
it.
for us?
Okay, I have two final ones.
Let's do
My
it.
first one is I did gymnastics with Polina Shenikova. If anyone knows her, incredible athlete, elite and college athlete. And her sister Alona, of course, is at LSU. The third Shenikova sister, Christina, got a 9.9 on beam in her Boise State beam debut, and that's the highest beam debut by a freshman since 1987. So
So
massive
cool.
kudos to Christina. I remember her being just a little sprite when Poe came on her recruiting trips. And so it's so amazing to see her now in college. I'm like mind blown. And just those Shenikovas know how to work beams. So massive kudos to Christina. That just made me happy seeing that stat. And then finally, a fellow Big Tenor, I don't know, just posted literally today, so I don't know how many people have seen this so far, but Emily Lease announced that she will be taking the 2025 season to continue recovering with her Achilles. If anyone forgot, she tore her Achilles during practice day of the Big Ten championship last year. It was absolutely gut-wrenching to watch. But she's such an incredible leader and human that she just put it away, came to the press conference after, which to this day is mind blowing. I actually had my coaches call with Brett Nelligan and Alexa Rothenbucher before my meet with them in Nebraska. And Brett said, we literally used Emily Lease in our huddle to say, like, that's how you put the team first and that's how you have an amazing attitude. And I was like, you should tell her that. I think that would make her life. But if anyone doesn't know that or know that moment, it was just like, I just have so much respect for her. And I love that she's taking the year to make sure she's recovered, be there for her team in a different role, and come back next year and absolutely crush it. So major kudos to her.
We were just asking just a couple, maybe like a week
Yes.
or two ago. I was texting Olivia and I was like, do you know what the status is on Emily? And so honestly, although I would love to see her gymnastics, I'm excited for her to put her head down and just focus on really great recovery so that she can get a great full season under her belt to finish her career. Watching her get wheeled into the press conference last year at the Big Ten Championship before I was having to lead that press conference, I was like, I don't think I held back tears. I cried a little bit. And it was so powerful to watch her. She could have been replaced by any other athlete. And she said, no, I'm going to be there so that I can advocate for my team, the athletes, the coaches on this roster, that I'm going to stay here and represent Rutgers University the best way I know how. And that's to show up and to be Emily. Rutgers loves Emily Lease all the way around, and I'm even having hard time finding words on this right now because I just remember how emotional that moment was. And if you can go back and look at Michigan State University posted the press conference on YouTube last year. Listen to her answers because I just remember they were iconic and worth you searching because just think about having just torn your Achilles in practice day, knowing it's the end of your season. You can't go out there and contribute routines and contribute tenths the next day. But she absolutely contributed tenths in spirit, in poise, in strength that she showed on that day, and what she did for that team the rest of that weekend. So it was very, very cool.
Great way to end.
What a great weekend of gymnastics. Oh, Olivia. And we have another Super Bowl coming up this week.
OU LSU. Who's ready?
Who's ready? Who's ready? OU versus LSU this Friday, Friday Night Heights. Hope you're tuning in for that. That'll be so awesome. I'm actually going to be going to the Washington versus Maryland meet in Seattle on Friday night. So I get to watch some gymnastics and just be a spectator this weekend, which I'm really excited about. But it's going to be a fun one. So with that, this is the end of episode 7. We hope you guys enjoyed. As always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to emphasize the comments on this one. If you guys want to hear more about any certain topic, hear from a certain person, ask us questions in the comment section. We will reach out and make sure that we can do our due diligence on that. Olivia and I are planning some big things for the end of this season with postseason gymnastics coming up.
E1G things.
B1G things are happening. So make sure that you throw comments into our DMs, into the YouTube comment section. Like, comment, subscribe, like I said. If you're listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. But with that, the end of episode 7, we hope you guys have an amazing weekend. And with that, Bubbles, go and get this Topo Chico blueberry with hibiscus because I have been enjoying the heck out of it. All right. Bye, everyone. See you later.